So I was laughing last week for two things that people said about me in class yesterday, both Alex and Annie. I went home and really reflected on that. The first was Alex's comment that a couple of times during class I articulate the fact that it's something happened in class that I had been thinking about, and just sort of that my paradigm is that everything is connected, because I think that's actually true. And then the second thing that Annie commented on was just observing my comfort with doing the improv. And an interesting little, those two things both came up for me in the process of actually making my, my sculpture. Because the first is that for the improv, my brother-in-law actually taught improv for many years before he moved abroad. Actually taught improv for years at San Quentin, which is a very interesting side story that I can tell you about later. But he always was at our house and always doing improv exercises with me and my family, and especially with my kids. And so I feel like that actually is something that I really enjoy doing quite a bit with groups of people. And then the other thing that really struck me, and just walking in with Jane, starting off with this comment about play, that was the big theme that came up for me during the course of making my sculpture. So, so just to your point, Alex, it is all totally connected. So when I thought about what I was going to do for my sculpture, I thought about play, and I thought about how incredibly important for me all exploration is and how it relates to play. And I thought about my core gesture with my kids, as they are now, in their late teen years. And I have always thought that I think the most important core gesture that I have with them is like throwing a stick on the beach with a dog. And that I always feel like I'm throwing the stick out to them, that they run down the beach really enthusiastically and bring me back the stick. And then I throw it just a little bit further as they run down the beach, pick it up and bring it back to me. And it's this constant game of play, I think, in the process of learning. So, so I pulled out one of my favorite things that I have actually on my desk, and I have had on my desk for years at work, which is my pencil sharpener. Which, as you can see, is Pinocchio. And so this was sort of my inspiration, those two things, is that having something that's functional but playful and has got some real hidden kind of wisdom in it. Because it's interesting to see who comes to my desk and who notices it, who says something about it, who picks it up, and then who actually engages with it. So there have been some very interesting conversations that I've had with people in the course of having this on my desk. So those were my two inspirations, sort of playful and functional. So what I did is I made a set of cloth baskets. And within each, I started with one of the core concepts and core questions that came up for me in this class. So this one is a well-reasoned judgment. Is this a good idea? And then I did cards for each of them with each of the 8 elements of a well-reasoned judgment. The other one, the next one is, I am the message. I have been very appreciative that public speaking has been a core component of this class, and sort of my key takeaways from all of that I put into this basket. The middle basket was, what is my posture? And this was something that I felt was sort of the Uber category for things like, am I doing green listening? Am I asking potent questions? And am I focusing on clear and concise communication? So I liked that, thinking about how I'm sitting and being in the world as my posture, with those as my key goals and ideas. So the fourth one is, what is the culture that I want to create? And so I put a bunch of questions in there, including path of continuous improvement and mastery. Max Nafe's 9 needs I felt was very important. And also balancing my thinking, feeling, and willing. I felt those were the 3 core concepts I wanted to include in the culture that I want to create. And then the last one is, what is my paradigm? And so I put in this one, what is my core gesture, my true gift, what is real, true, important in my ontology, what methods make sense, keep moving from periphery to point, and why am I doing this was actually the last and most important one of all. And that's why I put it in the center basket. So I wanted, again, to make something that was functional, that I could actually use for, I could put pencils in or do something, but that it was playful and that they could be used on their own or together, that they could stack, and that you could use them creatively to do all kinds of different things. And again, as an invitation, sitting on my desk for somebody to engage with them or just inquire about it, and you can dive really deeply into them in any kind of way that you'd like. So that's what my sculpture ended up being. And I think the thing that came up for me the most in the process of creating it was one of the things that I realized about myself, not that I hadn't thought about it before, but over the course of the class, is that the big concepts that we continue to run into in this class and certainly out in the world are very interesting and hugely stimulating to me, and I very much enjoy encountering them. But in terms of my real active interest, I'm much more interested in the how. I really enjoy learning how to actually apply things in the world as it is today. So, so this was something that incorporated the questions, was really the what, and the how was really on the inside of the baskets. So there it is. Thanks.